Hello and welcome in to this edition of PHLY Phillies podcast. I'm Jamie Lynch, and with me, Rich Hoffman. What's up, Rich?
Not much, James. We're joining the Philly show at a good time with Tyler off for the week because we have 5 series wins in a row.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of angst at the beginning of the year when Tyler was handling the show all by himself, but we're joining at a time when I think most people are pretty happy with the local baseball club, and they should be too.
Yeah, I think things are starting to look. You see the vision. Not that we didn't think it was always there, but you're kind of seeing this new lineup get settled a little bit. I think it's been a month. Todd Zalecki had in his newsletter this morning a full month now of kind of permanent Kyle Schwarber in the 4-hole, Bryce Harper in the 3, Stott leading it off. So maybe that's rounding into form. It is an easy month ahead of them here in the month of May. Things get a little more difficult in the month of June. But as you said, we picked a good time to hop in here and do the show because they're clicking right now.
Man, Kyle Schwarber, you can bat him anywhere. You can bat him anywhere, and he's going to be great. And as we're going to get into, I would like him to be batting. I don't care where you bat him. I just want him on this team.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I was thinking of the thumbnail this morning, and all that kept coming to my head was Teddy KGB and pay that man his money.
You didn't go full Malkovich.
No, I didn't want. You never fully go with Malkovich because then I would just blow it.
That's one of my favorite movies of all
That's
time.
a great movie. I got to watch that again.
Love that movie.
I used to own that on DVD back when that was a
Norton,
thing.
Damon, and Malkovich. Just awesome performances, all 3 of them.
But Kyle Schwarber, Rich, we'll talk about the historical significance of the signing and all of that. But when you look at this dude, from the leadership to what Dave Dombrowski says about him, to what Rob Thompson says about him, to what Bryce Harper, Nick Castellanos, and the other leaders of the team say about this guy, from the charity work he does to smashing home runs constantly, I can't think of many guys that have been a better Philly on, off, and in the locker room than this dude. He is an all-time signing for the Phillies.
He's been great. And, James, normally we talk about Zach Wheeler in the with the idea of that's one of the great Philadelphia free agent signings where you actually paid the guy a lot of money, but he even exceeded.
He was underpaid.
Yeah, he was underpaid. Kyle Schwarber is in that same vein, right? And I think it took maybe until this year to actually figure that out. We probably should have been talking about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, they probably should have jumped on that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think some of it is in past years, it was the streaky nature of his game where I was thinking about this. If April and May are this good, what is June going to look like with Schwarber? Right? The talking point locally was people would be a little bit fed up with him around this time of year because it's like, all right, he's walking. He's got, 9-10 home runs, but June
Schwarber's right around the corner.
But the batting average starts with a 1 and people, no, this is unbelievable. I mean, he's one of the best. If Aaron Judge did not exist, might be the best hitter in baseball. He has been absolutely tremendous. It was great watching the game last night, by the way. So homers in his first at bat. Just majestic shot, knows it right off the bat. I forget if it was the second or third at bat. He got into a little bit of a tiff.
I have the screenshot on my phone because I was dying at his body language.
So they had the ump cam on.
I'll send this to Joey. I meant to include this as part of today's show. I was dying when I saw it. The ump cam's kind of cool.
They had the ump cam, and unfortunately, home plate ump Alan Porter did not have a great zone last night. Felt like he had a particularly poor zone with lefties, too. I'm not saying that the Phillies didn't benefit from a couple of those calls.
Sure.
But there was a 3-1 pitch that was definitely low, and Kyle Schwarber, he basically was taking his shin guard off.
Yeah, he was bent over.
And Kyle Schwarber, if there is a borderline pitch, he knows the strike zone better than anybody. But if there's a borderline pitch, he might, and the call doesn't go his way, he might like sway back and forth for a little bit, but he doesn't show the umpire up to that degree. He was like, man, that is absolutely terrible. I should be on first base right now. And I feel like if you're the ump, knowing how well Schwarber knows the strike zone, you're like, oh man, I'm completely screwing up right now. So then he gets out, and then the next at bat, he hits another home run, an even longer home run. Just an amazing performance so far this season from him. And James, there's a lot of things that really stand out to me, but the first thing is he just mashes lefties, man. It's crazy.
He wasn't supposed to be this good against lefties coming in here. Like, we're seeing the full maturation of Kyle Schwarber, whether it's leadoff and his on-base percentage, whether it's putting him in the 4-hole, whatever it may be. He's gotten so much better at hitting lefties while in Philadelphia. He doesn't really have a flaw as a hitter anymore. Like,
no, he's gotten better over the last 2 years.
Yeah, like you said, his control of the strike zone.
32 and 33 seasons.
Yeah, having the ability to get a 385 on base if the team needs him to at the leadoff spot. Being able to consistently, there's the picture from last night where he's just looking at him like a disappointed dad. Like, really? You're going to call that here? Such a funny image.
And by the way, his out was... like he hit the ball 330 feet and he just got caught. So, like it wasn't even like a bad out. Like he's just everything right now. He's so locked in.
He is, incredibly locked in. He is not only one of the franchise's all-time signings, because there's kind of 3 of them going on right now with Bryce Harper, Zach Wheeler, and Kyle Schwarber. But you got to, that extension, I'm sure the conversations are happening behind the scene. I'm sure they happen down in Clearwater. I don't think he's going to leave here, but you really don't want to see this guy test the market because then you might get uncomfortable with the price tag.
No, and I remember listening to you a few months ago whenever you would talk about this, and I was on the same page. And I look back to the Juan Soto signing. Right?
Yeah.
When the Mets, there was a huge bidding war for him and the Mets, and Steve Cohen eventually just pay him just an incredible sum of money. And there were some Phillies fans who were like, come on, John Middleton. Like, are you serious about winning or not? You need to be involved in this bidding war every single year. And I was on the same page as you, where you're like, at some point, like this guy has shelled out a ton of money. If you look at the amount of money that the Phillies bring in, the percentage that John Middleton is spending is among the top in the league. It's not the top in the league. Steve Cohen actually is number 1 in that as well. So I wasn't, calling him a cheapskate or saying, get serious here, because again, they have shelled out a lot of money, a lot of long-term money. I will say the Kyle Schwarber free agency potentially this offseason, I'm not viewing it that way. John Middleton, you have to sign this guy.
You have to.
There is no nuance to this conversation because this guy, Jamie, there's a million things, but I would say like, not only do you know how good he is, you know how good he is on this particular team. Yeah,
he's perfect.
You know that he's the first guy out of the dugout in handshake line.
Yeah.
You know what he's like in that clubhouse. You know the transformative impact he can have on this lineup. So for this one, John Middleton, I gave you last offseason off. But for this particular player,
get her done.
Get her done. By the way, he's going to age fine.
So I was just looking it up. So he turned 32 March 5th. So he's a fresh 32.
Oh, okay. He's even younger than I thought.
Yeah.
32. He's a kid.
When I said it last week, I was like, what? He's 33, almost 34. I looked it up, and 32. I was like, oh, give the guy. So let's talk about the next deal. I would imagine, this is Kyle Schwarber's last big bag in Major League Baseball. I'm sure he'll sign something afterwards. DHs can play until they're 40. But this is probably the last, monster one.
He'll sign like a small deal in 2029 for like $15 million. Be like, wow, what a steal.
So do you have any issue with a 4-year deal?
No.
Do you have any issue with a 5-year deal if it took it?
No.
Okay. Because, that only takes you to age 37.
He's a DH.
Yeah.
We've seen players like this age pretty well, even into their late 30s. And I think, James, the thing I cannot emphasize enough, over the last year and a half, and obviously, is he going to have an 1,000 OPS? I don't know at the end of the year. Like, the odds are he does take a step back at some point. But this seems pretty repeatable to me. Like,
it does.
This idea that he's going to fall off a cliff, I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, no, and when they signed Bryce Harper to the 27-year deal that they did, I went, look, the reality is you're going to have to probably eat a couple years on the back end. Like Bryce Harper at age 40 with his violent swing and injury, like he's probably just not going to be the same player. But to your point with Kyle Schwarber, it seems like his bat speed has gotten quicker as he's hit 30 to 32.
And as violent as his swing is, I don't feel the same full body movement with Schwarber as Bryce.
He's a little more compact and
little more.
Bryce, you can see the torque on the back is like, dude, that's going to catch up with you. I don't care how many muscles and how much raw milk you're drinking. Like that's going to hurt eventually because that's violent. Schwarber's just compact, short, sweet, and fast. Like he gets around on everything. He really is just an all-time signing for this Phillies team. And 5 years, if I threw out 5 years, $125 million, you sign in that deal?
Sure. Why not?
You think it's going to cost more than that? Because of the DH element, look, this is a guy that isn't really going to contribute outside of the batter's box. So that does help in terms of the money a little bit, but I feel like 400 is like the starting point. 125 maybe? Something in that neighborhood.
So Jeff Passan, I think last week, Jeff Passan's a very plugged-in guy, right? Yeah. And obviously he's not saying this is exactly what Schwarber is going to sign for. Yeah. Well, he threw out 100.
I mean that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer for the Phillies. So, okay. Well, if he needs a fifth year, give it to him. But I think 4 for 100, I think everybody's happy, right?
I think he was trying to predict the next contracts that were going to go over $100 million over the total length of the contract. And he threw Schwarber in there. So I think he kind of looked at it like he's going to at least get the minimum aspect of this, which would be for 25. Yeah, look, I would do that. So here's something that I'm not plugged in enough to know. Do you think the Phillies just need to do this right now?
Have to might be strong, but I feel like
do you think they've missed an opportunity already to?
No, but because of the DH element, I don't think like Pete Crow Armstrong, somebody that's tearing baseball apart, probably doubled what the offer was he got in the offseason. Kyle Schwarber kind of just ages properly, and the money doesn't really go up too high. It's not going to dip too low, even if he struggled, he's kind of fully baked into his price range. So I don't think they really screwed up. I just think it's something you want to get done to have his mind off of it, to have the clubhouse know if you're a great professional and a leader of the team, we're going to take care of you, that type of stuff. So have to know, just kind of like to.
You mean the Howie logic with Saquon?
Yeah, basically.
Where he's look, you kill it. You have historic seasons. If you are a good teammate and really lift everybody up around you, we take care of those people. And I think Kyle Schwarber would certainly fit into that category.
I think it's good for employees to know that you're taken care of if you go above and beyond.
And I
regardless of the workplace, that's just a baseball workplace. But he is the heart, soul, and universe of that clubhouse. So pay that man his money,
And look, it's been a crazy career for him, right? I think he was non-tendered by the Cubs at some point, and I think he has 298 career home runs right now, and he's going to keep going. To 298. The thing with Kyle Schwarber too is, Jamie, he's weirdly been one of these guys. He's got a little Hassan Reddick to him, where he's bounced around to a bunch of different teams, and you're like, man, this guy's a really good player. And frankly, every team that has let him go, unlike Hassan Reddick and the Eagles this year, but every team that has let Kyle Schwarber go to this point has said, man, why did we let this guy go?
I know. The Nationals and Red Sox. It was two teams in 2 years there. And then the Cubs win a World Series, probably missed them after he was gone. And I've watched some old pieces with him. He really credits John Lester as teaching him how to be a great pro. About taking young guys out and buying them suits and kind of showing them the way of the road and stuff. So it's very cool, and he's going to be a leader of that clubhouse for a long time to come.
Also, too, and this is not a dig against Bryce, but Bryce obviously is a fiery player who can lift up the entire team.
I think he's more the lead by example on the field type of guy, whereas Schwarber fully gets it behind.
Where Schwarber, he's clearly one of the most important presences in that clubhouse. But really, the way he fires everybody up is that he hits the ball 400.
That gets a dugout going.
But he's as far as his personality, he's pretty steady. He's pretty steady, and he clearly he likes to have fun, and he likes to offer positive feedback to a lot of the younger players. Again, you really do see that. It used to be him and Stubbs just bouncing out of that dugout after the game was over. So I think that is there. And I think that presence, that veteran presence, it's only going to get better.
Yeah. And now Stubbs, because we'll talk about Andrew Painter coming up here in a little bit. Now Stubbs is taking on the mentor to Andrew Painter and being his life coach down in Lehigh Valley. So coming up, we got Bob Cooney joining us at 12:30. We're going to take care of business here and tell you about a couple friends. But on the other side, we're going to have to do a little bit of a temperature check with Mr. Bryce Harper and Mr. Andrew Painter coming up next. But first, let's tell you about some of our friends at PHLY. And that would be our friends over at Bet365. I've been talking about Bet365 for a long time. Why? Because 90 million people worldwide can't be wrong using this site. They've perfected live in-game betting, and they stream over 780,000 events every single year. They offer the widest range of games and market available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. And new customers right now can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. So sign up, use that promo code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Again, win or lose. They have early payout offers in NHL, NBA. They got NBA tip-off Tuesdays. You got slam dunk Saturdays. Whatever the day of the week is, Bet365 has something interesting going for you. And new customers get that $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up using code PHLY365, deposit that $10, place a $5 bet, and get $150 back in bonus bets if your bets win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. And whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
James, now let's talk about our friends at Empire Today. And guys, just like your favorite team needs a home field, home ice, home court advantage, your house needs a home floor advantage. And Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. And guys, we've all been to those big box stores. You wander endless aisles, and then somehow you end up hauling out all of these materials home, looking for an installer, and just coordinating everything yourself. And those big box stores, they might have a flooring department, but the person helping you with flooring, they could have been doing 800 other different things yesterday and the next day. So look, Empire Today, they live and breathe flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home so you can pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space and see how it looks with your furniture and in your house. And with Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Guys, nobody likes to wait. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. PHLY listeners can receive a $350 discount when using code PHLY. And yes, you heard that right, a $350 discount with code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/PHLY for more details.
It was a great weekend for the Phils. And Rich, I don't know if you're like me, but I'm still old enough to know the rarity of certain games and seeing them on TV easily. Something about being in Cleveland is always cool to me, because I think it's a game. If one, it's a stadium I like.
That doesn't often get said.
Yeah. Two, it's an organization that I've kind of always liked from afar.
Sure.
Probably tied to Major League. Like falling in love with the movie as a kid. I had an old school Indians cap that I still have somewhere that's threaded at this point. Something about Cleveland is just cool to see a game there. Did you get that feeling at all in Cleveland this weekend?
I did make a joke when I was, because again, Major League that's a movie I watched a bunch.
It's classic.
As a kid. Probably shouldn't have been able to watch it so early, especially the Rachel Phelps cardboard cutout at the end. But I did have a too high call on one of, I think it was Bryce's Bryce hit a home run on Saturday night, right?
Yes.
And I was like, too high. Yeah. So, yeah.
Name a park that wouldn't be out of.
Well,
Yellowstone?
So I do like Cleveland. One of my best friends from college is a diehard Cleveland sports fan. So I got to see him kind of live through LeBron leaving and then coming back. He's obviously a big baseball fan as well. So yeah, no, I like Cleveland. Wasn't like my favorite city to visit when I was on the road. That is a nice ballpark, though. I would say, along with Camden Yards, it's one of the earlier like new ballparks.
Yeah.
Like when they figured out how to make these beautiful ballparks in the late 90s. And it really has kind of withstood the test of time. Yeah.
It's aging gracefully like Citizens Bank Park.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So something about it, always cool to see the Guardian / name we don't say anymore. I always like series there. They took 2 of 3. As you mentioned, that's 5 series in a row now. They're just rolling. It looks like Alec Boehm is finding a little bit of his form. Bryce Harper's on the verge of kind of hopefully heating up here. And we'll kick off the heating up segment brought to you by our friends over at Ace Hardware Home Services. Time for a little bit of the temperature check. Is Bryce Harper about to heat up? And you can also heat up or cool off as we are approaching the summer months with the Ace Hardware Temp Check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online. What do you think? Now, the reason I brought up Bryce Harper is you mentioned Saturday night, but it does, to my dumb baseball eye, optically look like he started letting balls come deeper in the zone to them and driving them, whereas like the first month of the season, he was kind of getting out of front and flailing and hitting a lot of pop-ups. Seems to me like Bryce is about to heat up, like he's kind of driving balls a little harder than he had been in the previous weeks.
Well, I don't know if this is still the case, but a stat I've heard a decent amount on the broadcast and just in other people's coverage as well. Bryce is seeing fewer balls in the zone.
So I have it right here. This is actually courtesy of Todd Zalecki's newsletter because it was in regards to Kyle Schwarber. On opening day through April 10th, Harper saw pitches in the zone 44.2% of the time, which ranked, and this is a credit to him, ranked 258th out of 280 hitters qualified. But from April 11th through Saturday, Harper has seen pitches in the zone only 42.8% of the time, which is 241st out of 242 qualified hitters. Yes, Harper is seeing fewer pitches in the zone since Schwarber is batting behind him, which is crazy.
Which you would think that wouldn't be the case.
You would think it wouldn't be, but I think it's just Bryce Harper gets the respect no matter what, and it's like one of those guys you just want to avoid.
It has felt like he's been a little too over-aggressive in the start of this season.
I think his timing was off and early, whatever it is. I think he had a couple starting to heat up a little bit.
He had a couple at bats at the end of games too, where he went hero ball.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was the case. But yeah, no, I think Bryce, he's got a 782 OPS, so that's below his normal pace, but maybe he's the Schwarber of this year, right? Where he heats up a little bit in June. Once there's a little bit of hitting weather for him. I think look, that he had an excellent game on Saturday as well. And look, if you're going to continue to bat Kyle Schwarber behind him, at some point he's going to start to see some better pitches, right?
I would think. I mean, if Bryce Harper's that low on pitches in the zone, like where the hell's Aaron Judge? Like he should be getting the Bonds treatment then by these standards.
They should be like walking him with the bases loaded. Just take the run. It's fine. Yeah,
it's fine. We'll deal with the one run here. But Bryce, I think he's going to heat up here because there's no way it's a prolonged slump for this guy. I know it's baseball and everybody has them, but power-wise, it does date that back to last year some. And, ever since like kind of London, that stupid Mets London series last year, his power seems to been zapped a little bit. So I'm hoping he's heating up because if he heats up, then the Phillies are really a force.
Dude, I mean,
they're a force right now without him, kind of
I think this
being
is
fully Bryce, MVP level Bryce. But yeah, I think he's close.
I think this is excellent, the spot that they're at right now. What are they, 23-50? Is that the record?
I think so. I have the the old.
So,
me and you were talking about how we don't check the standings until
I
Memorial
don't.
Day.
I just
24-16, a game and a half out.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then I knew their record 2 days ago. Yeah. So I think like to be at that number with Schwarber having an amazing year, but nobody else is killing it.
No.
And you have Bohm, who's been awful.
Awful.
I know that, you know, if you look at some of the stats, he's actually hitting the ball harder than his numbers would indicate. I'm kind of tired of that. Like,
yeah, I'm with you. Oh, there's just some bad luck involved. Yeah, that, or he's just putting the ball where they play all the time. You know, like, I don't really care how hard you hit. I like that argument. Oh, he's hitting the ball hard though. And it's like, yeah, okay, you can hit the ball hard 100 times out of 100, but if you're hitting it right at a fielder, like, at some point it's not bad luck. Like, you're just placing the ball poorly. You know what I mean? You got to change something.
So if you look at their regulars though, it's like, yeah, I mean, Bryce with that 782 OPS is the second highest of their regulars,
That's
which
wild.
Look, that's a fine number, but it's low for him. And, you know, by the way, I do think Trey Turner's been better over the past like week or so.
But Bryson Stott, and look, this is the baseball season. There's 162 games. Bryson Scott's kind of taking a little bit of a dip down after his torrid start.
What do you think of him hitting in the leadoff spot? Because it's been about a month now.
It has been just about a month.
Not against lefties, but pretty much every righty, Bryson Stott is leading off. I thought it was funny, by the way. I forget.
You think he's cooling down? Brought to you by Ace Hardware Home Services?
No, this might have been I think it might have been Matt Gelb's article. I'm trying to give credit where it's due. Yeah. But they were talking about, or Stott was talking about the first day that he let off, and I think it was that St. Louis series about a month ago. And apparently the lineup for the next day gets texted the night before in the chat, and he was like looking through the lineup, and his eyes automatically went to the bottom of the lineup, and he wasn't there, and he was like,
"Yo, coach."
He's like, "Wait, I'm not playing."
Yeah, you're benching me.
And then he like took a second. He was like, "Oh wait, I'm hitting first. This is great." So what do you think about him in the leadoff spot?
was for it this offseason. One, because I felt like Turner needed to be like almost like electroshock therapy, like changed. Like, and I think you do that by moving him in the order, not being like, "Hey Trey, we need you to use all the field and still bat one." It was like, no, I think you needed to like put him down.
Put him down?
Yeah, kind of. Like change him in the order and like jolt him back to some sort of reality. I always thought Stott, if it was 2 years ago, was the perfect leadoff hitter for this team. He did it throughout college. He's done it a lot in his career. He has such a good understanding of the strike zone when he's locked in. He's got speed. He's got the things you want. So I was always pro it. So I like that they tried it out, and I guess you can say it's working.
Yeah. So my issue with Trey, and again, he's been very good, and he still has these stretches where he's like a pretty dominant player when he's locked in for.
Oh, he can give you a month of MVP play.
Yeah, I mean, after the ovation a couple years ago, the second half of that year, it wasn't the second half, it was a little later in that, but into the playoffs, into the D-back series, he was absolutely dominant. My issue with him is, it's kind of along the lines of what you're saying, where if you're trying to teach him new things and teach him play discipline, he doesn't think the game like that. Like that's just not the way it works. Maybe there was a time early in his career in Washington when that was the case, but I don't know. I've seen that guy for 2.5 years now. I'm not really seeing that much in Philadelphia. Stott, to me, you look at the numbers and they're not great. He does feel like a leadoff hitter, though.
Yes.
Where he takes a lot of pitches. Mm-hmm. He basically takes the first pitch every single time. I don't understand why pitchers just don't throw it right down the middle. Yeah. I understand he'll jump on maybe one of them, but like I think the risk reward is don't throw him a ball on the first pitch because he's not swinging at it. Sees pitches, likes hitting with 2 strikes, turns into a guy who will use the other way, go to the opposite field if he gets down to 2 strikes. But yeah, it's been funny because Schwarber in the leadoff spot has been such a talking point over the past few years. And now he's hitting cleanup and he's just completely mashing. I don't really think that has a ton to do with where he's hitting in the lineup.
Yeah. But no, I think he's just a really good baseball player. I was pro Turner leadoff at points. Like I wanted to just change him in the lineup for like the sake of change. Yeah. You know, like sometimes, look, managers and coaches in sports don't always deserve the firings that they get, but like sometimes it has to be done just because there's no other moves to be made, right? And there needs to be like a shock to the clubhouse. I wanted to do that with Turner and get him out of the 2-hole. So like him or Stott, I could have been talked into either day being the leadoff guy. And you know, who's to say? We'll come playoff time, I guess we'll find out.
I will say for Stott, he even with the recent cold streak, he does look like a better hitter so far this year.
Apparently the elbow was pretty bad last year.
Oh yeah.
which annoys me because like it goes an entire season and then everybody's like, oh yeah, he was more hurt than he let on. It's like, well, where was everybody last year saying that? You know, like everybody was hiding that one.
And it's annoying too, because when you look at the swing that it happened on, it doesn't really seem like anything.
Yeah.
It just seems like he swung and missed. Yeah. And that was in what? That was in like May of last year. And then they say, yeah, you got to throw out all of June.
And just throw out the 2/3 of the season. He was really hurt.
He was much better in the first month and a half of last season. I don't know. It's one of those things where it feels like it makes sense because Stott is the type of hitter you would want as the leadoff hitter. It just is a little odd that your two best hitters are hitting 3 and 4. That's not the way baseball usually works now.
No, Aaron Judge leads off.
Yeah, they want you higher in the order. Yeah. Which obviously makes sense. You get more at-bats, all those things.
All right, let's give a quick shout-out to some people in the chat. Good to see some old familiar faces in here, like K-Red and Mopar and Molly. But Peeling Onions Rich says they came here for the leg show between me and you.
That's what I mean. If you're listening to this on podcast, you are missing the leg show today.
Yeah, me and Rich got the knees out. The pale knees are out. But Ray's in there. It's good to see a lot of people in here. Coming up next, we're going to talk to Bob Cooney. I was at the Truist Open on Saturday with Mr. Cooney. So we'll continue talking about the Phillies week ahead, who's been heating up, cooling down, and maybe a little Andrew Painter talk thrown in the mix. But first, let's tell you about our friends at PHLY. And that's LinkedIn. Everybody knows LinkedIn because as a small business owner, you're not going to have the luxury of checking or clocking out early. You live your job and your business is on your mind 24/7. So when you're hiring, you need a partner that grinds on the back end for you just as hard as you do. And that hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out LinkedIn, well, they're clocking in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, to share it with your network and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. LinkedIn's new features can help you write job descriptions and quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. Either post your job for free or you can pay to promote. Promoted jobs do get 3 times more qualified applicants. At the end of the day, the most important thing to your small business is the quality of candidates. And LinkedIn makes it easier to feel confident that you're getting the right person. And based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small businesses using LinkedIn say that LinkedIn helped them find those high quality candidates. You can let your network know you're hiring and help them do the work for you. You can even add a hiring frame to your profile picture and get 2 times more qualified candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Phillies. That's linkedin.com/Phillies to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
And James, now let's talk about our friends at Ashley Furniture. And guys, it is on. You can shop the Memorial Day sale at Ashley and save $100 off every $1,000 that you spend. Plus, you can get a ton of amazing savings on your outdoor furniture. And guys, that's not all. You can get 60 months of special financing and have your furniture delivered locally for free. So if you're looking to furnish that back patio, we got these summer months coming up. I was with some friends this weekend, Jamie. They were grilling. Head on over to Ashley to make sure you're situated. And plus, guys, with your qualifying purchase at Ashley, you can get a free gift and save on top brand mattresses and get a free local delivery setup and removal at Ashley, South Jersey, and Philadelphia. So guys, visit ashleyfurniture.com for more information. And guys, with financing with approved credit, minimum purchase required, some restrictions may apply. See store for details.
All right, let's welcome into, let me just make sure here, Joey, Andrew, Bobby C, all good to go?
Got Bobby C.
All right, let's welcome into the show our own Bob Cooney, who you can read writing about the Phillies as well as Jim Salisbury on all PH. Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, boys? How's everything?
Doing well. Rich, Bob was with me at the Truist Open on Saturday out at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. We didn't get to talk about it before the show, But Bob, I just got to say before we get into the Philly stuff, banner weekend for Philadelphia golf. I thought the execution of the tournament, the crowd, the ease of it all, Philadelphia shined this weekend. It was really awesome.
Yeah, and I compared it to when Merion hosted the U.S. Open back in 13, where everybody was saying, oh, everybody's going to kill Merion. The guys are going to come in and post these outstanding scores. Well, they didn't. 1 under was the winning score then. And then yesterday, towards the end of the round, guys were struggling with the course. And I really started to wonder if it beat them up throughout the week. And, you saw what happened at the end. And it wasn't so much that Sepka won it. It was more like other guys kind of choked on it. And I think the course had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I was pulling for Lowry myself. I wanted to see the Irishman get it done because he just seems like a good dude.
Oh, who doesn't like the big overweight Irish guy? Come on.
Yeah, he's a good guy to get a creamer with, have a nice Guinness pint. But it was a lot of fun out there.
It was
Bob,
great time.
I was talking to Rich. Something about Cleveland and the Guardians always is cool to me. I don't know why. It might be my love of Major League, the movie, but like anytime there's a Cleveland series, I kind of get a little extra juice for it for some reason.
Yeah, well, you hit on it. It's because of Major League and because of all the lines that you said and Yellowstone and all of that stuff. Like, yeah, that it's always going to be fun. Bob Uecker, all that stuff. I mean, it's great. It is what it is, and that is. And they were saying it last night on the national broadcast. It is a beautiful, beautiful stadium, and it's right near where the Cavaliers play. And it's wide open, so I've seen it a lot from, looking down into it. It is a really nice place to play. And what I thought was cool last night, I don't know if you guys noticed this, wherever they had the microphone behind the plate, man, you could really hear the ball coming off the ball coming off the bat. Did you guys get that, or was that me?
It did seem a little extra mic'd up. Maybe I'm thinking of the Stott interview a little too much, but it did seem kind of loud there because you heard Schwarber a little bit even complaining to the ump. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they did have it a little extra mic'd up there.
Might have been the ump cam. They had a mic
Yeah, the
on
ump
that
cam was maybe a factor in that.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, it was great. So, Bob, good weekend for the Phils. Felt like on Friday they were a little tired because on Friday they don't play, on Thursday they don't play a day getaway game in Florida, so they get into Cleveland pretty late. Pretty lifeless performance on Friday. Very nice bounce back the last 2 nights. Pretty dominant wins. What was your biggest takeaway from the weekend for the Phils?
Well, it was funny. What I posted before this away series, or both series started, was I was really confused as to try to find an identity offensively for this Phillies team. Like you didn't really have any home run hitters besides Schwarber. Where are they exactly? And you guys talked about it earlier. I really like Stott at the leadoff spot, and I think he's growing into that. I do like it. I do like the way he looks at pitches. I think he scored 4 runs in the 6 games that they had. Schwarber is what he is. Turner, again, he went 10 for 27 on this road trip.
Yeah.
He's legitimate 300 hitter now, even though he's not really driving the ball. It's more seeing eye singles, all of those things. But yeah, so I wrote, and it'll be posted in a little bit about, okay, maybe there is some identity to this offense. But then I wrote, and Rich, you'll appreciate this. I said, man, am I burying the lead? You know what the starting pitchers did in the 2 series that they just completed?
Yeah.
How about 37 1/3 innings, a 1.93 ERA, with 3 times going 6 or more innings and not allowing a run? Like, their starting pitching was really, really good in these 6 games. And that's even taken into consideration Nola's outing, which was, again, subpar. But, Suarez and 2 by Wheeler, Luzardo, Sanchez, these guys are really good that are getting out there and starting games for the team.
Yeah, and you kind of saw like a fresh Alvarado last night, which is the byproduct of your starters. Like you actually get to rest your high leverage guys. Zach, is Zach Wheeler, or Bob, is Zach Wheeler the best pitcher in baseball?
God, if you're going to say he's the most consistent, which might have been thrown out there last night, that kind of lends to best, doesn't it? I mean, unless you're consistently giving up 4 runs a game, that's not it. He's just it. Like and those guys talking about how he signed the contract and he might be okay retiring after the contract. Man, it seems like he's got a lot more baseball in that right arm. He very well could be, Jamie. He might be the best starting pitcher out there.
Yeah, with the guy in Detroit, Skubal is probably the other guy. But Zach Wheeler, I mean, we're talking about 4 or 5 years of just an amazing resume that he has put together. And I agree with Bob said about the starting rotation. You do kind of take it for granted almost at this point. And you mentioned Alvarado pitching last night. It felt like they were getting a little tired about a week and a half ago. They just had a week where everybody, and look, the bullpen has pitched well. Romano has bounced back. Hernandez is even giving them some decent innings. They got a nice, like, refreshing week, in part because the starters are giving them 6-7 innings. I thought it was great, by the way, that Ranger bounced back from his first performance and gives you that strong effort on Saturday night. It made me feel like, okay, that first outing, he wasn't quite built up. AAA is not the same test that it used to be. And he comes out and he was dominant. He could have went another inning.
He could have. And Wheeler, he was like 76 pitches in 7 innings or something. These guys are just pitching really, really well. And Jamie, you make a great point. When the bullpen's rested, I think it's a really good bullpen. When they're going too much, that's when you get the up and down Alvarado. That's when you get Kirkring that just can't find things, different guys like that. But, man, this starting pitching, you have the efforts that we just had, and then you go, oh, yeah, by the way, Christopher Sanchez is going tonight. I mean, your opposing teams, it just doesn't stop.
I would also argue, too, like the depth that they have in their organization. At
the fact that Andrew Painter's coming.
Like, Taiwan was okay. Like, we know Taiwan is not great. Like, he's in the bullpen now. Like, he can't pitch. Honestly, like, a team might give you something for Taiwan if you pay most of his contract, I imagine. And then you have Andrew Painter coming. And, obviously we have very high hopes for him. And Mick Abel has actually looked pretty good.
He looks like he might be salvaging himself.
Of the season at AAA. So, I know a lot of organizations, no organization is going to be completely balanced where they have the right amount of people in the outfield, the infield, bullpen, starting pitching. But the Phillies are just absolutely loaded in their starting rotation right now. Loaded.
Well,
we have an internet fart.
Yeah.
Bobby C's lost in the Matrix.
And let's not forget.
There we go.
That, those guys down in AAA, they may be pitching better because they do have that stud Garrett Stubbs behind.
Yeah.
I'm here.
No, it's good to see him down there. It seems like, he's considered a guy who calls pretty good games.
And I think he's one of those guys, like a true taxi cab guy, kind of murders it in AAA, kind of bad at the major league level. Like, he's a true tweener in between.
It is funny now that he's in AAA. I'm appreciating all the good things about Garrett Stubbs. Well, meanwhile, Marshawn's not really lighting it up.
No, he's hitting 083, I think.
Yeah.
So, Bob.
That's.
Oh, so go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was just going to say, let's.
So that's, if.
The old internet hiccups. I was going to say, Bob, if you're starting a playoff series tomorrow, let's get nuts and have this conversation. You need 4 pitchers to start your games. Who are your first 4 pitchers right now? And this could change by the end of the year. I'm not holding you to this. But right now, who are your first 4?
Well, I think it's a quick conversation. Love you, Aaron, but.
Wow.
Look, I like Aaron Nola. I know, we all know what he is, the inconsistencies being what they are. You can't afford it. You just can't afford it in playoff series. And if that comes about, look, do you guys disagree? I mean, are you going to put him over?
The only reason I might is
right
just
now.
because Rangers proven to be such a asset out of the pen. He's done it before. I don't know if Nola, I guess he could do that middle relief thing if he needed to, but I think I'd feel better with Ranger out there than Nola.
Out of the bullpen, you mean?
Yeah. I think I'd give Nola the 4th spot.
They're going to pitch.
Okay.
They're going to pitch Nola.
And it would only be, 2 games maybe? So it's not like you're putting yourself out there all that much. But, if you put a gun to my head and say, all right, give me 4 starters, if Ranger starts pitching or ends up pitching the way he started last year, how can you not have him out there? He was, through the first half of last season, he was your Cy Young Award winner.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I can take that out of a starting lineup.
So I agree with you, Bob. I just don't think they're going to do that.
I think Rob Thompson's got that
and Rich,
Nola
you're
equity.
exactly right.
But and it's not even just Rob Thompson. It's that he's in the 2nd year of this huge contract that he signed. And like you said, they can probably justify, all right, we'll put Ranger in the bullpen. He's had some success there. He might not be here next year, all of those things or whatever. But I agree with you, Bob. He's clearly been their 5th best guy, Nola, right now. Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, he had those 2 outings, and you thought, oh, great, he's back. But that just lends to the inconsistency part. When you see that, and you say, there he is, and then he comes out and, he starts giving up solo home runs, 2-run home runs, and he gets out of the strike zone, and you see the sweat come a little bit more. That's just the inconsistency that you get with him. Now, yeah, Ranger, I agree in the bullpen, but if I'm getting to the playoffs, you're going to have to change up some things. Sorry, Aaron Nola hasn't worked for you the last few years. Although he's had some really good outings in the playoffs, it hasn't gotten you where you want to go. Maybe a Ranger Suarez pitching well like he did at the beginning of last season, maybe that's a recipe for getting a little further along in the playoffs.
So, Bob, does Kyle Schwarber have a contract extension by the MLB All-Star game, or is this one we're going to have to sweat out into the offseason?
I don't think we're going to have to sweat it out. I heard what you guys were saying earlier, and I said earlier too. I think it's 125, somewhere around there. I think maybe they give him a 5th. Obviously, he comes in and asks for 5 or 6. They say, we'll do 4 or 5, and they wind up somewhere in between. But I think your numbers are right. I like the 4, 100, 125. Maybe they go a 5th because, as Rich said, he's a designated hitter. It's not like he's running around the field. It's not like he's running around the base paths because he hits home runs. So I think going to that 37 age that you said, James, why not? Like, I don't mind that at all. I really don't.
So is that a yes, it gets done by the All-Star break?
That was the way around saying,
yeah, you didn't answer the question, Bob.
Being that he's a good guy, I would lean more towards if I'm the Phillies, let's do the right thing, and let's get it done early. So All-Star break-ish, why not? I'll go there.
All right, Bob. For historical context on the way out, they're kind of in the golden age of free agency signings right now. You can very easily make the case that Zach Wheeler, Bryce Harper, and Kyle Schwarber are like 3 of their top 5 signings ever. Rank those 3 for me and tell me where Kyle Schwarber falls on that list.
All right, give me the 3 again.
Wheeler, Harper, and Schwarber of this current crop. And then put those 3 in the historical context of maybe a top 5.
Wheeler might be the best free agent signing in Philadelphia.
I'm not going to argue.
Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, no arguments here.
Harper,
I mean, he's a stud.
I go Wheeler, Harper, Schwarber. As far as historically, as I said, Wheeler, Harper has to be top 5-ish.
It's got to
be. Top 5. Yeah. And Schwarber's probably going to wind up top 5 also. 7, top 7.
I'm not going to fight you on 5. I mean, historically, who else you got?
No, that's pretty good. I mean, it's weird to put 3 Phillies in there.
No, I just mean of Philly signings. I'm not going the whole city.
Phillies. I was thinking all of Philadelphia.
No,
my gosh.
No.
Yeah. Look, Wheeler's probably 1. Pete Rose might be number 2. Harper number 3. Schwarber could wind up 4.
Just shows the nature of the sport, right? Where you can get really these franchise changers in free agency.
Yeah. I wish the Sixers could go out and get one of them.
They can't. So
who?
Let's move on.
All right, Bob. Yeah, the Sixers team. They got good luck on their side tonight as we let you go. What do you think?
They could have Pope Leo the 14th be in that lottery draft room tonight, and Jesus Christ Almighty also. And no, they will have absolutely no.
Don't tell me it's going to OKC.
That's funny.
It might, or they'll get the 4th or 5th pick and they'll screw it up. Maybe.
Sounds like facts. All right, Bob. Everybody can read your writing on allphly.com. You're gonna be down at the ballpark this week. I'll be there on Saturday.
Yes.
Nice little easy
Saturday
month ahead.
Also.
You'll be there Saturday?
Yeah, I'll be there Tuesday, Wednesday, working probably either Thursday or Friday. And then Saturday, we're going a big party, Jamie. You're going to have to come over and tailgate with us for my wife and her friends are celebrating certain birthdays.
Ooh.
So we have a huge group going over on Saturday, yeah.
Oh, nice. We're taking the girls down. I'll be in touch. Maybe we'll swing by.
Absolutely. I would love it.
All right. Good stuff. There he
All
is,
right,
Bob
boys.
Cooney.
Be
Make
good,
sure you're
guys.
reading his writing. See you, buddy.
See you, man.
It's something about. I'm real excited to take the girls down on Saturday. I love going to a game with the family down there. Like, it's the one sporting event I have left that I enjoy. I don't go to a lot of Flyers games, so I can't really lump them in. But like, of the other two, like, baseball's just like the best.
I'm gonna be there on Saturday as well. It's part of it's like 18 game season
Nice.
ticket plan
Yeah.
that I share with a bunch of my friends. I probably have 11 or 12 games. I went to a game 2 weeks ago, man. It was like might have been a Wednesday game against the Nationals. These games fly now.
I know.
It's nice though, man. The game starts at 6:45. You're out of there by 9. It's like I'm door to door in 3 hours now. I live in Philadelphia, so it might be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But even for the people that are driving out to the burbs and out to Jersey, like clearly like not a huge undertaking to get back. And
I saw a stat recently. It was like games under 2.5 hours, and like the amount that it's happening now, like it was unheard of previously.
I only had time for 2 beers, two big boys. That's it.
I was watching the game with my wife the other night, and the extra inning started, and the guy was on second, and she was like, they're still doing this. I hate this. The old man in my brain was going like, yeah, but there's like a guaranteed end in sight.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to worry about the only sport without
This isn't going to be 15 innings.
Yeah. I do kind of hate it, but there's part of me that goes like, well, it's going to be over soon.
I hate it when the Phillies lose, but
yeah.
I forget about the times when they actually put a 3 spot up in that inning, and it's fine. Yeah.
It's nice not having to go to bed at like 11 o'clock every night. Sometimes that can be done by 10 o'clock, 10:15.
I mean, I think back to some of those Yankees Red Sox games in like 04, 05. Those games were like 4.5 hours. Now I understand there's a difference between mid-May baseball and October baseball when the Red Sox are trying to break the curse and all of those things. But man, some of those games took forever, and those games took forever in the regular season.
Yeah.
Just a million pitching changes.
Yeah, it's good. I think the rule changes are mostly good, and we'll see. Do we get the ABS system coming in the next year or two?
Well, I like the idea of you get 2 challenges for the entire game, but you have to be right. You could keep doing it. You could keep being right, but you only get 2 times where you're wrong.
Yeah.
So you basically have to just challenge the ones that are obvious. You can't make a challenge early in the game on a 1-1 pitch that's borderline. So
all right, let's take a minute here and tell you about some more friends of ours. And that's our friends over at Ace Hardware Home Services. I took on a project the other day at the house. Should have been an easy one. Ended up not being an easy one. I'm an idiot. I screwed it up. I had to listen to my wife ridicule me and call me Bob Vila for days upon end. You know what I should have just done from the jump? Called my friends over at Ace Hardware Home Services. Because whether you've got a leaky pipe, whatever it is, an air conditioner that you don't have, tuned up and ready to go, a leaky pipe, a faucet you said you were going to fix, whatever it is on your honey-do list, Ace Hardware Home Services has got a guy for that. It's the trusted pros from the hardware store you love coming right to your front door. I've always been an Ace Hardware store guy because you go in there and it's like a retired contractor that knows and has seen everything. He can tell you exactly what you need, what size it is, how you do the job. You're in and out of there with professional service. Well, those same guys will come right to your front door. So visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project.
And Jamie, now let's talk about one of our newest friends, and that is Mando. Mando is a men's deodorant brand that's hyper-focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. And I'm not going to get into it, but we mean every
little
aspect.
Crevice.
Mando, their scents are geared towards men with options like bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport. And look, guys, it is a whole body deodorant. It's safe to use anywhere on your body, and it's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated.
He's talking about Grundle BO. Most definitely. Guys, you can't ignore it.
Clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours in the spots where Jamie.
I mean, come on. We can't neglect those spots, boys.
Talking about. Guys, look, summer it's here. It's
swamp ass season. You got to take care of this stuff.
It says on the read here that it's around the corner. No. It's here. I stepped out of the car today and I was feeling it. And one thing that can make you feel more confident is Mando whole body deodorant. And guys, like what makes Mando more unique from any other deodorant? Guys, it is a whole body deodorant. And you can choose from all of the scents that I talked about. And guys, Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash, deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. So guys, use code PHLY. That's the code, PHLY, at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Guys, please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
I headed out to the Truist Open on Saturday, and I had a bottle of the full body Mando on my bureau, and I said I'm gonna be walking around a lot today. It's good little day to hit myself downstairs and make sure I'm smelling fresh all day. All right, Rich. So it's a big night tonight, and speaking of golf, by the way, June 14th, PHLY Liberty Open. Myself, Rich, Bo, Fran, a lot of the staff is going to be out there playing, hacking it up over at Valley Brook Country Club. Hope you can join us. Now, tonight, the Sixers have a show coming up in the afternoon, and then we have the live lottery drawing tonight. How you feeling? Do they get a top 6 pick? I feel like they are.
People keep asking me like what I'm feeling. That the odds are laid out very simply.
You got a 63.7% chance? Yeah, that's how you feel?
64%. That's the odds that I think that they're going to keep the pick.
All right, so I'm just going to sim one right here while we're on the air. Take it, number 2.
Oh, they would take that right away. Man.
Dylan Harper, you are a Sixer.
What a night that would be. Yeah. So good sports night. You know, you can just follow along.
I'm nervous.
You can follow along on your phone if you're more Phillies pilled, or you can watch the Sixers. This lottery doesn't take that long, guys. It takes like 5-10 minutes. You got a Phils game against the Cardinals.
6:45. Now the lottery is 7:30.
I don't know. It's apparently the broadcast starts at 7, but I have no idea when it's actually happening. But yeah, you know, you'll get a little lottery, and then you got 6 innings of Phillies baseball after it's over.
Yeah. Peel and Onion says he's going to be watching Michkov highlights.
Sure.
Not a bad way to spend your time. So last week, I'm a Flyers kind of Zamboner here.
That was great, by
the way. I was on the edge. I was like cleaning up from dinner, and I had Charlie, Kelly, and Bill on the TV. And like the way the watch party was getting the news before them, and then like seeing them on the edge of their seat reacting to everybody. I was nervous for the Flyers, and they're like admittedly my last place of the 4 teams.
Sure.
The Sixers, like I grew up maybe as like my number 1. Them or the Phillies were number 1 growing up. So like I'm gonna be more nervous tonight watching Devon, Derek, and Kyle at 7-5.
Well, I think there's reason to be more nervous too, because they could lose the pick. Like the Flyers had a rough night last week. They're still picking top 6 in the draft. So it's gonna be a crazy night. But did you see how the NHL did the draft lottery? Like they did the actual drawing of the ping pong balls on air. That was electric.
So is the NBA just envelopes and they just give them out?
Well, they do it like the NHL did before, where they do that, but they do it in a private room about a half hour before. They lock everybody in that room and take away their cell phones, and then they let them out.
So you're pro lottery ball right on set.
Like, that was amazing to watch. Because the Flyers at the end of it, James, I think there were 11 ping pong balls left. They told you, like, live on air, they told you if the Flyers, I forget what the exact numbers were, but it was like if they get a 4 or a 6, they get the number 1 pick. Obviously, it did not turn out to be the case, but man, that was very exciting to watch. So yeah, the NBA, I wish they kind of did that as well. So yeah,
just spun it again and they got 7.
Well, that's I think that goes to show what it's going to be like. So yeah, fun.
So tune in tonight. Derek, Kyle, and Devon have got you covered for a little live lottery special. Going to be fun, and I know those guys are, the fandom gets removed from the journalistic world.
No, I'll speak for them. We want the pick. We want to spend the next 2 months talking about a pick.
These guys,
it's funny. I was listening to Anthony earlier, and he was like, the 5th or 6th pick does nothing for me. It does a lot for me, Ant. It does a lot for me. I get it. It's not going to change the franchise. It does a lot for me.
Yeah, the hoops heads out there, even if they cover the team, they're still hoping something good happens here. So
I would like to talk about something a little more interesting.
Yeah, Cooper Flag, please. Even Dylan Harper, it's fine. The rest, I guess, it becomes a debate after the top 2.
Good, we'll have that debate. Yeah. Good. And anyway, we got a Phils week. We got Cardinals at home.
The Cardinals are on deck. 6:45 tonight.
Yeah.
I like the 6:45 start time. I always forget around 6:55. I'll either be like finishing up dinner or cleaning up dinner, and I'm like, oh wait, 6:45, the game's on.
I like it too. Yeah.
I like it too. So you got Cardinals tonight, Sanchez night going on, and then Tuesday you got the 6:45, and then Wednesday a little business person special 105, and then Thursday is the off day this week, and then the Pirates. RIP to the Poop series, Rich. They've changed the Chiron and the graphics, so the Poop series is no more, which is a little sad. It was always an extra little giggle during the Poop series.
Don't be sad because it's over. Smile because it happened.
And on that note, we are going to be back on Wednesday this week. I believe Jim Salisbury will be joining the show, and we'll be doing another full hour-long show tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Tyler's got a VOD coming out for you, so make sure you're tuning into that. We got the Golf Open. We got the lottery show tonight. We got a lot cooking here at PHLY. So hopefully you're spending your time with us. We thank and appreciate all of you. Let's hit that thumbs up button.
Thumbs up on the way out.
Let's get a little thumbs up on the way out for Joey producing the show today. Thanks to
Great
Joey.
job, Joey.
And thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. We will see you again on Wednesday. Take care.
We all silly like the mayor.